Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. We're back on the monster pit bike. Turns out this is a 125. I thought it was a 110, but whether you're fixing a spark plug hole or timing them up, it's all the same. So sorry about that, such is life. This is kind of a nice pit bike from a few points of view. I happen to like the fact that it has an electric start and a kick start. Easier for just troubleshooting. You could just sit there and hit the electric starter, turn the throttle, play with the choke, and work on it, right? You don't have to be kicking it and trying to mess with everything all at the same time. So I happen to like that there's an electric starter on this thing. Is it the most necessary thing in the world? No, these bikes typically start up and all fairly easily, but I'll take the electric starter given that it was free. We already talked about having to rebuild the whole tail end of this, including the shock and all that other junk, and how you're dropping 10s and 20s all over the place, and there's 100 different items back there, so it gets very expensive very quickly. Should you find one of these things that the back wheel is out of it, even if you get it for free, you're probably going to put a lot of money into it. I dug up the plastic and seat, and you guys could see the muffler right there and the gas tank. Other than that, I think all I need is an air cleaner and the whole thing goes back together again and everybody is happy and good. You gotta love some of the kiddie time stunts, and I gotta tell you, a rocket scientist must have worked on that. You see these two holds here and those two holds there, right? So you're sitting here, right? And how would you get those holes? How about if you put screws in it like this? I mean, check that out. I mean, you sit down on this seat, you're gonna get quite the, I think I'll stand up now, stimulus, right? I mean, as you push through that seat, this could go into your tail a good half inch. I mean, that's sure to get one's attention, especially if you're a good-sized person like me. If you're an 80-pounder, maybe it only harpoons you in the butt a little bit, but for somebody who's good-sized, and you could see, right, that's too long, that's too long, this would be too long, and its sister over here would have been too long too. So those are the four holes that correspond to the damage to the external seat. What am I doing now? It's time to rebuild the carburetor. So easy enough to get this off. That's an 8 and that's an 8. You take the two of them out, slide that off. Obviously you take the cap off. Right? When you put the cap back on, you just want to pay attention that long slice here, right, corresponds to that, right? You don't have the throttle set screw here. Throttle set screw is where the incline goes. So I'm going to pull this carb off and we'll take a look at it. I must say it stinks, so I think it's going to need a rebuild. I just want to get it done before, I put the plastic on and everything else, and then discover it needs to be done, and then it's like, oh shoot, now I got to take the plastic and everything off and start all over again. So let's do a quick carb rebuild. So here we have the carb. Let's do a quick rebuild on it. And I've lost my Phillips head screwdriver. Take the bowl off. Yeah, they've gotten cheap. There's only 2 bolts or 2 screws holding this on. One, two. I'm using a tripod. One of my viewers suggested Wow. Did I get some camera lessons from Musty One. And to be honest, to get better at using a camera for YouTube purposes, the real trick is to just spend some time with it and see what works for you and what doesn't. Yeah, this is pretty nasty inside. Right, I think you guys could see. Oops. Let me show it to you. There you go. I got the official light on there. Some people use ultrasonic cleaners. I tend to just open the whole thing up, take it apart, and blow through all the holes. Right, as I'm turning this, you should hopefully see some holes, and you should know that there's one dead center. Same with this jet here. Right, this smaller one is for idle. The bigger one is what actually you run on. So I got those out. I'll take this guy out too. Laying this stuff out on a white cloth typically helps you keep track of things. Be careful not to lose the spring. Right, if you lose that spring, you got trouble. So at this point, I'm just going to take my carb cleaner, chain lube, well, for a moment. Oh, there we go. It's actually going to be brake cleaner. And I just, you know, blow out through all these and make sure everything is, you see the fluid squirting out. So I just make sure that I'm all clean. I'm not wearing gloves, which is actually very bad because you really don't want to absorb this stuff. It's not good for you. So I'm going to finish cleaning those jets out and put it back together again. Typically, when you take this guy out, that was the one that unscrewed with the spring on it, you should really count the number of turns. I remember a little bit over 1 as I was spinning it out, and normally you count the half turns. It just makes it a little easier to figure out. Well, let's see if this thing will start. Choke on. I put some gas in here. God, it sounds juicy. So, it started. We got no smoke. That's all good. And my camera battery is blinking. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to end this video here. We'll come on back. There are a couple of things wrong with it. Like I got this vacuum leak here that I need to do something with. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with the exhaust. Got to put an air cleaner on it. There's a lot more work to do here. But I also better, while I have it apart, I should adjust the valves. So I got quite a bit of work. If you guys wish, I'll do a wiring video on it. It's really easy, so we could do that. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember, feet down, heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.